What's going on, guys? This is Kevin from Cinefellas, and I'm here to talk to you about what I watched in February of 2022. Can't believe it's over already. We're in March, third month of the year, and hopefully for us in New York, it starts getting a little warmer. Even though it's supposed to be like 51 on Wednesday, and then go back to like 38. I don't know what's going on with the weather. Anyway, I am not the weatherman. I am the movie guy at Cinefellas, and I am here to talk to you about some of the stuff I watched in February. And there's a lot of stuff that was okay. It was an okay month. I am going to start with everything I gave 3.5 out of 5 hair pieces, and there's a lot. It's the majority of my list. I'm going to start with Cyrano, Peter Dinklage, man. Who doesn't love Peter Dinklage? Guy kills it on Game of Thrones. Guy kills it every time he's on screen. I am convinced that if he was normal sized, no insult to him, but if he was normal sized, he'd be the king of Hollywood. So this is based upon the famous story about a guy with a big nose who loves a girl, and the guy's a poet, and the girl of his dreams loves his poetry, but he's too scared because even though he's a soldier and he's a poet, he doesn't think he's good enough for her. In this version of the story, which is a musical, he doesn't have a big nose. Instead, he's little like Peter Dinklage, and that's the disability. I want to say that, but that's the disability that they give him here. The songs in this movie are not that memorable. Besides one that is constantly played in all the trailers, I really don't remember any of the songs. I think that I forgot what band did it. Sorry, but yeah, I forgot what band did it. But they're not bad, but they're not memorable. Dinklage is awesome though. If you're looking to see a Dinklage performance and you want to be blown away and be like proud of him that he's made it to the big screen and he's the leading role in this. His singing voice is not that bad either. It's not amazing, but it fits the character. Decent movie. Joe Wright, he did Atonement. What else did he do? He did Anna Karenina. Does this like an old-fashioned musical. It felt very old school. It's not a bad movie. If you are a fan of musicals or Dinklage, check it out for yourself. You may like it better than I did. The next two actually are foreign films that I watched. One is called Annette, that was done, I believe, by a French director. It is weird as hell. Adam Driver, Marion Cotillard, and Simon Hedberg from Big Bang Theory, who played Howard, star in this bizarre musical about this married couple. One's a stand-up comedian, that's Driver, and the other one's an opera singer, that's Cotillard. And they have a child, and I guess they wanted to have the child emote, and it's pretty hard because the child in the movie is maybe like 1 or 2 for most of the film. So I guess it was hard to basically try to like emote everything they wanted her to. So they made her into a ventriloquist doll. Yeah, it's stranger to see. It's kind of cool. It's kind of up its own ass at times, but there are parts in it I'm like, okay, I know what they're doing. This is a foreign film. This is the film that won the Cannes Film Festival last year. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, this is not the one. I'm sorry. This is not. This was up for the award, but it did not win. Again, just like Cyrano, the songs were okay, nothing really memorable, but this is a lot more whacked out than Cyrano, where Cyrano was old school. This is this like modern and embraces its weirdness. Now, the movie that did win the Cannes Film Festival was a little film called Titane. I'm going to try to explain this one. It is about a serial killer, a woman serial killer who has an obsession with cars, actually has sex with a car. Yeah, I didn't stutter. You heard me. She has sex with a car. She gets pregnant about a car. And she goes on the lam and meets this guy who is going through his own personal experiences. And he kind of acts like her father figure. That's really all I'm going to say, because I think you should check it out if you're a film fan. It won, again, it won the Cannes Film Festival last year. It's out there, it's weird, and like Annette, it's up its own ass at times, but for the most part, it's a journey. It's weird. It's violent too. It's very violent. So if you want to know blood and guts, check that one out. Then we move to one of the controversial story named House of Gucci. This one is being pushed. This is one of the 2 movies that Ridley Scott did in 2021. Personally, I think The Last Duel blows this film away. But, everyone knows how I feel about The Last Duel. I think it's one of the best pictures of the year. This one was good. It was a little long, and some of the acting, Jared Leto, was a little over the top. Jared Leto I felt like he was doing an audition tape for Wario. If they ever do make a sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie that's coming out, I think the end of this year. But really bizarre performance. Ridley Scott directed it, so the production value on this thing is incredible. It's a cool story. It kind of loses its momentum near the end. Lady Gaga she's good. I don't think she is amazing. I'm not one of those people who is heartbroken that she didn't get an Oscar nomination and she just lost SAG to Jessica Chastain. I'm not really upset about that. It's campy. And then I told a bunch of people that this is like Ridley Scott was watching the Real Housewives of whatever city you want to choose. And he's like, I want to make a movie about trashy people doing trashy things. And he succeeds, but it's a good movie. It's not awful like I've heard, but it's not incredible. Like they're trying to push for the Oscars and every award season. The next one, 2.5. Now this is going to be controversial. Speaking of the Oscars, this is nominated for Best Picture. It's loved. I think this won the Toronto Film Festival last year. I personally thought it was okay. The production value is beautiful. The acting is great. You have it set against a very historic event that took place in Ireland. I'm talking about Belfast. Kenneth Branagh directed this. Again, everything's there. It's a great picture, like from a technical level and everything. You know, the acting's great, the writing's good. I don't know. I couldn't connect to this one. You know, you probably have seen it or you will see it. And you're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? This movie was incredible. Personally, you know, there's always a movie every year that I kind of don't care for, or I'm like, this is not for Best Picture that everyone else loves. But you know, with that review, you know, take what I said that everything is great in that movie, but I just didn't connect with it. But you know, you will probably feel differently than I do. Peter Rabbit 2. I think the first Peter Rabbit was pretty good. It was a British CGI creation. You had what the hell's that guy's name? The guy who has a late night show. I can't think of his name right now. He is James Corden. James Corden plays Peter Rabbit. He's very self-aware. The animation's pretty good on the rabbits and the foxes are good. And it's this Peter Rabbit 2 is more meta than the first one. They're kind of realizing that they are characters in that book. And they make constant jokes to it. It's a fine movie. It's a good, you know, there's a lot of crap that comes out that is sold to kids. And, you know, this is a fairly decent film. I enjoyed it. It's not amazing. It's nowhere near as good as something else that I'll talk about in here, but I liked it. It was a rental. I didn't regret paying $6 for it. You know, so check it out. If you're a fan of the first one or you're a fan of British humor, definitely check that one out. All right, next one. There's a movie that came out last year called Mass. Mass stars Jason Isaacs, Martha Plimpton, Ann Dowd, and I always forget the last guy's name. He's not as famous, but he's good. So you have this scenario where you have one set of parents played by Jason Isaacs and Martha Plimpton sitting down with another set of parents played by Ann Dowd and this other guy. I apologize if he's watching. Hope he's watching this. You were great in the movie, man. Whoever you are. I don't want to pick up my phone, but so you have these two parents. One was the son of a shooter in a mass shooting in the school, and the other one was one of the victims. It plays like a stage play. It is based on a stage play. The acting is incredible, but it's just very dry. It doesn't take advantage of the fact that this is cinema and we're not watching a stage play. We want to see, you know, different camera movements, but it all takes place in this one tiny room. So, you know, maybe I'm being a little bit of a stickler, but it's a good movie. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I enjoyed it. You know, the acting is great. Jason Isaacs, man, he turns in some really good work here, as do the other three. The mystery guy too. But you know, check it out for yourself. It's very talky, but you're seeing four actors who are at the top of their game, you know, hit it out of the park. Now, I am going to talk about 4 hair pieces, I'm sorry, out of 5 movies I saw. Kingsman, this is Matthew Vaughn's 3rd time around. Again, he brings a little more history to this one. You know, it's still zany and has that kind of wacky energy that Kingsman 1 and 2 had. But it's a little more focused than The Golden Circle, which was the second one. I liked Ray Fiennes, and I thought some of the story twists in this movie were pretty cool. Definitely check that one out. Then we have Luca. Luca is the Pixar movie that came out. It's a little more childish than what people expect from Pixar, but it's a good movie. Obviously, it's beautifully animated, and I thought it was very respectful to the Italian culture, and it feels like it's made by an Italian filmmaker, which it is. It's not, made by an American director trying to mimic that culture. It's very authentic in that way, and I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was very, very good. Then we have Jackass 4. If you like the other Jackasses like I do, go. If not, you're not going to be won over. But I thought this was hilarious. It's just mindless fun. I not the best film of the year at any point, but it was hilarious. I sat there like a 13-year-old boy snickering at the stupidest things going on the screen. If that seems appealing to you, definitely go see it. And finally, the last four hairpiece thing I watched was Pig with Nicolas Cage, which is currently on Hulu. This is a Nick Cage movie. It's a pretty cool movie. The less you know going in, like I did, the better. All you have to know is that Nick Cage is hunting for his pig. That is very special for him. He used to be a chef in Seattle, but he kind of walked away from the life, realizing how fake everybody is in the restaurant industry, and he just lives alone in the forest hunting for truffle, which he sells to a dealer played by Alex Wolff of Hereditary. He is very good in this movie. I thought he was, a little more upbeat than he was in Hereditary. Again, this is a Nick Cage movie. If you like Nick Cage and you like his energy, definitely check this one out. And it's pretty short. It's like 90 minutes. It's not a long movie at all. And it gets to the point, moves fairly quick, and you get to see Nick Cage being Nick Cage. All right. So the worst and best things I saw this month were. I am going to start off with the piece of crap that I saw over my break. I go back tomorrow to work. It sucks. I am talking about Uncharted. I am a huge fan of the PlayStation games. I think they are updated, very stylized Indiana Jones type games. That is mainly because Nate and Sully, both as individuals and as a team, they work well together. I like Tom Holland. Spider-Man is, great. And I think he's a great Spider-Man. I've talked about that on the podcast, but he is not Nathan Drake. Yes, he has the charm and he has maybe too much innocence to play Nathan Drake. Nathan Drake's not a badass. Nathan Drake is, he does have that innocence, but he's a little more gruff than Tom Holland. There was a fan film that you have to check out if you are a fan of this series. And this 5 to 10 minute fan film is better than the movie. Why? Because first of all, you got Nathan Fillion playing Drake, you got Stephen Lang playing Sully, and they are the characters. They're great. In this one, as I said, Tom Holland is a little too squeaky clean to play Nate. And Mark Wahlberg looks nothing like Sully. He doesn't act like Sully. And worst of all, in this film, looking at it from a perspective outside of the video games, he just seems like he's sleepwalking through this thing. Like he just took it as a paycheck movie. It is a big budget film, so he did get a decent sized paycheck, but it's forgettable, it's empty, it's soulless, it's just a product. And it's a damn shame, because if you gave the right director, I think David O. Russell at one time was supposed to do this. If you gave it to the right director, this could have been like the new Indiana Jones, but it's just so goddamn forgettable and this bland. But what do I know? And finally, the best thing I saw this month was Spencer. Spencer is the film that is giving Kristen Stewart a chance to win an Oscar. She wasn't nominated for a SAG Award tonight. Jessica Chastain won, as I said. Now it's an interesting race because there are no frontrunners this year. Anyway, Kristen Stewart is incredible. I've never been one of those people who hate Kristen Stewart. I don't. I think she's a decent actress. You know, they took Twilight to get on the map. And obviously it worked because everyone knows who they are. You have fans, you know, who are now in their early 20s, mid 20s, who are still connected to Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. That's going to help the sales of Batman and also, you know, the sales for this movie. And she's great. You know, she becomes Diana. It's just not the way she mimics the voice. This movie is directed by the guy who did Jackie, the one with Natalie Portman about Jackie O and how she dealt with the sudden death, assassination, I should say, the assassination of her husband. I didn't really care for that movie, so I was really hesitant about this one, but I thought it was great because they show Diana as kind of the rebellious princess that she was, that she didn't want to fall into the overly stuffy nature of Britain and the royalty. And you know, they've said the royal family has problems with this movie, and I'm not shocked because they are not painted in a very good light here. But you know, it's not really surprised that if you are part of royalty of any type, any kind, that you have to follow certain rules, and you can't do this, you can't do that. And Diana wasn't like that, and I really think that Kristen Stewart nails that home. You know, she loves her kids, but she just doesn't understand all the rules and the guidelines that she has to follow. And it's anchored by her. She's the entire movie, and she's fantastic in it. She is so good in it. And I wouldn't care. I want Stewart, but if Chastain wins, that'd be great. But, you know, a little spoiler, you know, for my future Best Actress discussion, you know, because the Oscars are in the month, I want Stewart to win. I think Stewart is incredible here. I think she has a chance. She may not get it because, you know, Chastain has been in the industry for a long time. She's consistently good, but, you know, maybe it will happen. Maybe Kristen Stewart will win an Oscar for this, and I will be extremely happy. Anyway, that is it for this month. I'm going to start watching some TV because all the guys are talking about all this TV, and I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. I'm almost done. You know, unfortunately, I have a job that's not a movie critic. I would love to be a movie critic, but that's not my job. I'm a teacher. And, you know, I can't watch all these movies. I'm almost done on my list. I'm almost done. It should be done by the end of March with everything. And then I'll write up, give you the best and the worst. But up until then, as we say at the website, I am Kevin Muller, and cheers.